It's your destiny to greatness with Dr. C and Brothers Keeper. Today, where we've been, where we're going, and Friday trivia. And now, here are Dr. C and Brothers Keeper.
Hello everyone and welcome to your Destiny to Greatness. Dr. C here. I'm so glad that you've decided to join us today.
And Brother Keeper here, and I am excited as usual.
Well, good. So how are you feeling, Brothers Keeper?
Well, actually, I'm excited, but in the background, I'm fair to middling.
Hear a little raspiness.
Yes, it's a combination of the weather and the pollen, but I can press through it though.
I believe it because you still have a nice smile and
Yes.
a wonderful attitude.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, today we are talking about this particular topic that I believe all of you will identify with: breaking down the walls. Brothers Keeper,
Yes.
you know anything about breaking down some walls?
Well, I know a little about putting up walls. I'll get back with you on to break it down.
Break it down.
I can put up some walls.
Okay, so
I'm human, so we all at some point
exactly,
put up some walls.
and I totally agree with putting up walls and barriers.
Yes.
And there's a reason that we do that. So in our intro of talking about putting up some walls, we definitely want to get to breaking them down because it is necessary many times to do that.
Yes.
So think about it. Where are you? Where are your walls? Are they in front or surrounding you totally? Have you put up some walls to keep some people out or to keep yourself in? Think about that. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit deeper, breaking down the walls. Welcome back. So we're talking about breaking down the walls. However, Brothers Keeper, before there was a wall to be broken down, we had to put that wall up.
Yes.
In my life, and this definitely fits because I had been so used to keeping most people at a distance. So I put that up. There was only so much that I would say, so much I would share. But there came a time in my life a few years ago when I got really sick. And God had it so where I had to accept help from people that I generally would have never asked for help from. And because of this particular illness, now I never rebuked it, but I embraced what I was to learn from it. And I had to tear down some of those walls that kept me to myself so that I would be able to get the help that I needed. It wasn't easy because I didn't want people to do so much for me. I would help and do for everybody I could, but I just wanted to do everything all by myself.
Yes. And I talked to this subject earlier in one of our other shows about growing up an African American,
Yes.
light-skinned, green-eyed
Yes.
fellow in a darker skinned neighborhood. And sometimes it wasn't what they said, it may have been the way they acted or what I perceived. And as you say, you'll start to close yourself off.
Yes.
And I understand now that I wasn't building a wall, I was pretty much building a cage. So I was encased inside the cage, trapped from my own doing.
It is. It really is. And we'll think that we're okay and that everything is okay, but that's not necessarily so. Because there is a season for all things. And there's a season for us to help and to allow others to help us. And yes, those difficult situations could be where you've been mistreated or talked about, or sometimes you could have done good things, but because you had certain talents, people say, oh, well, he or she thinks, she's so much, and you find yourself pulling back because you don't trust, or you don't want to continue to get hurt that way.
Yeah, it causes a negative impact to come to your world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They always say we learn what we live, then we live what we learn.
Right.
And if we start out with that, as they say, that erroneous thinking, and we're not seeing it clearly because maybe we haven't been around enough people who have been that role model to show us the right way to do things, and we'll develop our way, and because there is no other way for us to do it, our way is the right way.
Right.
Then we get caught up in this vicious cycle,
Yes.
and we stay there.
Well, in reference to people bringing us up the right way, we could have or have had people that did better than their best and taught us what to do and how to behave. However, the pieces that we pull from that, for instance, I grew up, you don't tell your business, and you keep to yourself and you stay to yourself. That wasn't bad in itself, but the way I took it, I just went full blown with that thing.
There was no gray area.
There was no gray area. It was black or white. You ask me something, I'll kindly just stare at you.
Yeah.
But a certain bit of each of us, we have to be willing to share, because it helps us and it helps others as well, because then they can say, oh, well, she is approachable. It wasn't that, I had a chip on my shoulder or I thought I was better. I just didn't believe in sharing or getting close to people.
If I can piggyback on that, they say we should share our testimonies to help the brethren. It ain't necessarily got to be some horrendous thing that happened in our life and we have to show someone the move of God in our life. It could be those simple things. Those simple things that we've done might be the most crucial thing for someone who hasn't been able to be a part of something like that.
Yes, that is true.
And like you said, once we open up, you'll be surprised. We'll have more stability in our life too.
A lot of stability, and it helps with our relationships, whether it's friendly relationships, or it could be relationship between someone who's trying to get to that marital state. But we have to be comfortable with ourselves and know that it's okay. We don't have to be perfect. And the other person or people don't either. But when we come together and you share a little bit, and I put my little bit with yours, oh, what beauty.
We share our similarities. So it'll be a lot easier, as I stated before, to bridge the gap of our differences.
Exactly.
And we won't be so judgmental.
Yes, that's important, because the way I was raised, or the way we do it in my church, doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is going to do it that way. And if they don't, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. So we just have to allow Jesus to help us through this, because he shared and he helped, and he allowed people to come on in because he told stories and so told them that people might know how to live and how to be successful in this life. So to do that, we have to tear certain walls down. We have to tear down these walls so that God can actually build us up to be who he wants us to be.
So we can walk to our destiny.
All right. And I'm all about walking to my destiny. All about that. So I believe that you're getting ready to tear down some walls that you have built up. Your wall may be different from anyone else's, but there could be similar. It takes a little time, but if you begin to get in that mindset that I need to do this for me so that I can grow, God, he'll come in and do the rest. Well, Brother's Keeper, it's Friday Trivia.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, I know Brother's Keeper is going to tie in our subject, breaking down the walls, with the Friday Trivia question. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back. And as she stated earlier, it's time for Friday Trivia.
Yes.
And I think I have a nice story from the Bible for this week.
All right.
We were talking about breaking down the walls. And it said to break down walls, you shatter the wall, you cause it to fall completely down. Whatever it may be to get rid of the wall because it makes us ineffective. So in order to move the walls, we'll be more effective. It brings me to the walls of Jericho.
Interesting.
And it let me know that the people had to have faith in what God was telling them in order to do what He wanted them to do to get the effect of the wall falling down. My question today is, how many days did they walk around the walls of Jericho before it fell down?
Okay. Very, very good question. How many days did they walk around the walls of Jericho before it fell down?
Yes.
Yes. Definitely get your answers in. We love to get your answers because we know that you're right there with us, encouraging us actually. But Brother's Keeper, before we close this thing out, you said something that we had to have faith in order for
The walls to come down.
the walls to come down. And then I started thinking, well, what if I've been scarred? I mean, really scarred. And that's the reason why I put that wall up. I mean, I could have been abused and traumatized. And I put that wall up because nobody is going to hurt me like that again. Some people say that. And you might say just cause. Could be young children. Things could have happened earlier in their life, and then when they grew up, they've put these walls and these barriers. But then you say, I have to have faith. How can I have that faith when all of these things have happened to me to cause me to put that wall up?
Good question.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking that regardless of what are the reasons that the walls are there, that if we can look within ourselves and maybe get ourselves to the place where we're willing to at least listen to someone that could take a crack at the wall, a little today, a little tomorrow, a little the next day, and knowing that every now and then they will be trying to patch it back up. But if they have enough confidence in themselves from talking to the person, a little more confidence every day, a little more confidence every day, I believe that after a while, by and by, the mindset will change and they will seek some God, our God, and then the faith will start to grow.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, I just sense and I feel that there are some of you out there who genuinely have put up walls because of the trauma that you have endured in your life. And Brother's Keeper was saying that we had to have faith. We have this faith when we begin to identify with Jesus, because He was beaten for no reason. He was talked about, mistreated. He understands and knows how we feel when we're hurt and when we begin to put those walls up. But He also says that I'm here for you. Trust me. Give everything you have to me, and He'll come on in. Talking about giving rest and peace. That's how you have that faith. You have to accept Jesus, who is the author and finisher of our faith. And once you do that and you start learning and identifying with Him and His example, then you'll know that you can make it and that your walls too can fall down just like those walls of Jericho. So the young man here, he asked, he said, how many times did they walk around
The walls of Jericho.
the walls of Jericho before they fell down? Go ahead. Walk around and allow your walls to fall down. But, you can send your answers to that question? Get them in by tonight at 11:59
PM.
Yes, and definitely email them to your.destinytogreatness@gmail.com. Let's break those walls down. Health, wealth, and beauty. Health, wealth, and beauty.
Your beauty comes from within. It is not fancy hair, gold jewelry, or fine clothes that should make you beautiful. No, your beauty should come from within you, the beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit that will never be destroyed and is very precious to God. It's time to get to know and see your true beauty.
It's just me thinking again. Hi, this is Brother's Keeper, and it's just me thinking again. Who among us hasn't gone through some dysfunction? Whether it be at work, your family, your friends. I think all of us go through a certain amount of dysfunction. But how often do we set up little barriers to keep us, as we would say, protected from the effects of it? The question is, are we setting up barriers to enclose us and protect us, or are we really setting up a cage around ourselves? Be mindful of how we're acting because of the dysfunction. How about it be about finding out why the dysfunction is there, understand how to get past it, and move on. We have so much potential. There are many things that are in store for us. So don't let the dysfunction rob you of being who you are able to be. I'm not going to let it rob me from being who I am able to be. I'm going to look at it, I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to press forward. So I hope you do the same. This is Brother's Keeper, and it's just me thinking again.
We are destined for greatness.
You know, we often sing, give, and I'll give it back to you. And that's exactly what Jesus wants. He wants us to give not just money, we already know about that, but to give of ourselves. There's so much potential that lies in you. And if you begin to give of yourselves, share your time, your talent, your gifts with others, you'll feel better. And no longer will you hold back these things that God has given you to give to the world. And when you do that, He'll give back to you, talking about good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do that as you walk towards your destiny, and the path will be bright.